It's not often I get an opportunity to talk about the terribly woke things that Hollywood does. It's normally not my lane. I kind of stay more on the red pill aware relationship stuff and then also politics as well. That's kind of my bag. But whenever there's an opportunity to speak truth about this abomination that's going on right now that is Hollywood, and especially one of its bright shining beacons on the hill, race swapping all of the characters that they possibly can. And don't think that this is a one-off thing, okay? Like them trying to race swap verifiable people of history like Cleopatra, everybody knows, okay? Like played multiple times throughout, different Hollywood renditions, most famously by Elizabeth Taylor. There's been a couple of other instances, but yeah, she's very, very verifiably Greek and Macedonian. She's a white lady. She doesn't look too dissimilar. There's been some artistic representations of what she could look like. And yeah, a fairly plain looking lady. And maybe Elizabeth Taylor was back in the time, okay, maybe a little bit, too good looking to play the role. But as opposed to, I don't know, it's like, what did the body double for Aunt Jemima not have any work? And it's like, okay, cool. So Netflix, more specifically, and why I think that this is getting panned so hard, who's the production staff behind this, but we'll get into this. After backlash to Netflix's Black, Queen Cleopatra, Egypt plans counter-programming. Oh yeah, and like I was saying, Hollywood's been race swapping historical figures for a long time. Anne Boleyn, right? Like the central figure to the British monarchy from back in the cut. A BBC, not like that, but a BBC production, race swapped everybody that's out there. Alexander Hamilton, okay, that traveling play that everybody had to like because, oh, it's so stunning and brave, Black Lives Matter, yeah, it's great, we love musicals. Yeah, everybody out there was race swapped, but this one right here, it's like, yeah, no, what do you mean? She's African, that's totally fine. And it's like, no, Cleopatra was kind of a transplant, and just because you continue to scream we was kangs and shit doesn't mean you get this one. The backlash to this, I'm missing a lot of the stuff that's out there. There's been lawsuits filed by Egyptians that are just big pissed off about this, which is hilarious and justifiable. That's the only way that this shit stops, when they feel like a tangible repercussion for their stupid fucking decisions. You fuck around, you find out, but I'm just laying the groundwork before we get into the very, very funny stuff. Netflix on Wednesday finally released its polarizing African Queens docuseries, Queen Cleopatra. Yeah, if you wanted to do Queens of Africa docuseries, fantastic. I'm sure there's plenty of them. I can't name any of them, but yeah, if you want to start out with Cleopatra, yes, Egypt is a part of Africa. She's probably the most famous African queen. She can also be an African queen and still be accurately represented, but okay. So why is this one different? It depicts the Egyptian ruler as black, but Egypt has already launched counter-programming plans and tells its own version of the pharaohic ruler's story, using highest levels of research and scrutiny. Well, that actually sounds pretty good. Al Wathida, okay, and the Egyptian state-backed documentary channel recently announced plans to produce a documentary with the government-owned broadcaster United Media Services, an apparent response to what some Egyptian critics called historical revisionism in Queen Cleopatra by Netflix and others. Who are those others? Jada Pinkett Smith. That's why I'm thinking. That is why I'm thinking that this is getting absolutely fucking dogged to hell and back. Okay, because check this out. Netflix's Queen Cleopatra is panned. Everybody hates it by viewers as it receives a Rotten Tomato score of 1. Literally, not like out of 10. 1. 1 fucking percent. Bruh. Amid blackwashing row. Yup. We was queens and shit. Queens of the fucking bargain bin. Netflix's Queen Cleopatra has received a 1% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Yo, Rotten Tomatoes is kind of a shit way to review anything, but still, 1%, that's fucking hilarious. Amid an ongoing blackwashing row, which blackwashing doesn't exist. Oh my god, there's memes of it all over the internet of the numerous. Actually, it's kind of funny, the crossover, ginger characters that get race swapped for their black equivalents. It's very shocking. It's there's obviously a concerted effort going on. The documentary, which is part of the African Queens series, yeah, if it was going to be a revisionist take, you could get away with that, but I also think with Jada Pinkett Smith's name attached, this was finally one of those sacred cows that could be pierced because there is such an unlikable bitch attached to this project. That's my theory. The documentary also discusses issues such as her relationship and heritage. Oh yeah, if you're gonna throw in the heritage part and you're gonna say that she's black, yeah, that's a big L. You can't be a documentary. You just become fiction at that point, which is subject to debate as well as her political work. Yeah, she was a hoe. She was throwing it back for all of the Caesars. Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, the most famous ones, but okay. Show's been subject to blackwashing claims after a black actress was cast in the lead role, Adele James, 37. Hey, Adele's a white person's name. You just blackwashed Adele. Despite historical records showing she was Macedonian and Greek. After 4 days on Rotten Tomatoes, Queen Cleopatra has been given just a 1% audience rating, reportedly the worst ever documented. I think I seen Nerdrotic tweet something out that there was a Doctor Who special that for a very brief period of time ended up with a 0%. 0%. But it's since been fixed since then, and it's kind of like this situation, because as it stands right now, the screenshot that I have for the thumbnail you guys already seen, it's at 2%. Okay, so it's actually gone up 100%. So guess what? People are actually oh no, it's 100% up from 1. Fuck. Okay, close enough. Yeah, man, she's not ugly. Okay, like for any other role, she might be a good actress. Don't know. The 1% doesn't necessarily sound all that promising, but so fucking poorly cast. Like, what are you guys doing? Publication says fans usually rate things higher than critics. Are you having a laugh? Even bad shows? No. It's normally, flip reverse. And that's one of those things that you can get on Rotten Tomatoes. Normally, if the critic score is incredibly high and the viewer score is incredibly low, that means that there's some woke element at play. And if it's flip reverse, if the audience score is super high and the critic score is pretty low, that means that it's a reasonably based movie and there's a good chance that you might enjoy it. Otherwise, there's just some other situations at play. Like there's been a couple of movies, what was it, Captain Marvel? That one was capped because my fan brigading and whatever the hell happens there. So where's the defense force on this one this time around? But yeah, as it says here, okay, yeah, fans usually rate things higher than critics. Even bad shows, at the point of being a 1% audience score, seems borderline mathematically impossible. Well, maybe it's truly just a huge, there's bad shows that people like The Room historically, Birdemic, Samurai Cop. There's a bunch of, cult favorite shit movies. Maybe this one's just, so bad and so boring and so blatantly woke that nobody can enjoy it. Maybe that's the case, but we'll see. Even with the controversy the film has attracted, nobody's coming to its defense. It's yeah, we'd like to support our black queens, but, Cleopatra ain't it. Producer Jada Pinkett Smith says that she wanted to tell a story of Cleopatra because we don't often get to see or hear stories about black queens. Wow. Holy fuck, have you been on World Star Hip Hop? In the trailer, which was released in April, claims that Cleopatra was black with curly hair. No, that's your version of history. One historian asserts in a preview, I remember my grandmother saying to me, we was queens and shit. No, I'm sorry. I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black. I don't care what they tell you in school, Jesus was black. I don't care what they tell you, we was all born here and shit. An Egyptian lawyer has filed a case with the country's public prosecutor demanding that Netflix be shut down. Yo, that dude's super triggered, but kind of fucking hilarious. Cairo's former Antiquities Minister, Zaha Hawass, condemned the documentary as completely fake. Yeah, don't call it a documentary. Just call it fiction. Okay, if you want to do that, then that's fine, but this is not. They said Cleopatra was Greek, meaning that she was light-skinned, not black. Zahi said the rulers of Egypt known to have been black were the Kushite kings of the 25th dynasty, ruling from 747 like a big prehistoric airplane. Is that who dropped off the pyramids back in the day? Okay. To 656 BC. He said Netflix is trying to provoke confusion by spreading false and deceptive. Oh, they're spreading misinformation and disinformation? Hilarious. The facts of the origins of the Egyptian civilization is black. In April, Mahmoud al-Samari filed a complaint with the public prosecutor to, multiple lawsuits on this shit. Holy. For the first time in a long time, Jada Pinkett Smith's the one that's getting slapped. That he takes the necessary legal measures to block access to Netflix. He alleged that that the show featured content that violated Egypt's media laws and accused Netflix of trying to promote the Afrocentric thinking. Imagine an actual African country saying, There's a bunch of woke white, or not woke white women, but woke women across the ocean that are just trying to pander, and they're trying to proselytize and propagandize the good people of Egypt. We don't want this shit. Take your fucking streaming service and go stick it up your black washed ass. We don't want it. We don't want it. Which includes slogans and writings aimed at distorting and erasing Egyptian history. Cleopatra was famously played by white actress Elizabeth Taylor opposite Richard Burton as Mark Antony in Joseph L. Mankiewicz's historical epic from 1963. Yeah, but was she that white? Maybe. I don't know. But it's a little bit more accurate than, Adele's interpretation. But you know what? Funnily enough, okay, I know that those are just a couple of screenshots. Like, I know at the time, like, wasn't Cleopatra one of the most expensive films ever made? And it was for a very long time. But yeah, that looks like there's way more pageantry in that one as opposed to, I don't know, she got some funny eyeshadow and shit. Oof. I just find it hilarious that, nobody's coming to the defense of this shit. I think that Jada Pinkett Smith has a lot to do with that stuff. But you can see she has a tiara in one of those situations. King Cobra. Yeah, King Cobra. They're kind of like bald and stuff. So I guess Jada Pinkett just wanted to see herself represented on a tiara for once. Interesting. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.